takes three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the OLine Committee.
Listen, you guys wanted more content, more hashtag content. And so we're bringing you Jeremiah in a deer stand somewhere. We got Booney between running kids to sporting events and calls here. A rare Wednesday episode of the OLine Committee podcast.
Dude, we'll go out to a fucking duck blind to find Jeremiah to get some fucking content out. It's the best.
I'm on Lake McConaughey at Ogallala, Nebraska. So I'm here. I made it. My Wi-Fi may represent.
I can't see you though. Are you camouflage? What is this? What's going on?
Hey,
Wait, Lake McConaughey?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. We're gonna go.
All right.
Yeah, we got a big old duck feed, goose feed that we're gonna go hunt this afternoon. So just popping in when I can, for the brand.
Jeremiah hunting ducks, Sam Darnold hunting deep passes. Life is good right now. So we're going to sprinkle in some of these kind of bonus episodes, and I think we're going to put them under the Is This a Hot Take umbrella. We used to do this segment early in the season. It's fun, but our mics take so long. We have so much to say on Mondays. So is this a hot take? I have a few questions for you guys, and you tell me if this is going too far. Is it a hot take or not? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Is this a hot take? Andy Reid, when it's all said and done, will go down as the greatest NFL coach in history. Better than Bill Belichick. He will be regarded as the best coach in NFL history when it's all said and done. Is that a hot take?
How old's Andy?
I'll give you some context. All right, so Andy is 66 years old. His last single-digit win season came 10 years ago. His last below 500 season came in 2012. He's currently, right now, fourth on the all-time regular season wins list. So he's 58 behind Don Shula, number one, which is gettable when you're winning 11 a year or more. He's second on the playoff wins list, 5 behind Bill Belichick. And he's third on the Super Bowl wins list. He has 3 of them. Belichick has 6. Chuck Noll has 4.
So we're basically saying in the next 7 years, is he going to win more than 3 Super Bowls?
So it's about Super Bowls for you then.
Pretty much. I mean, what are you going to say other than did he command? I mean, if you're going to say the greatest ever, it has to be the guy who has the most trophies. I think that he could do it. I think that he's creative enough. I love Patrick Mahomes, obviously. I think that's a bold statement, but I think it could be true, my dude. I think the way that he's taken this offense, and even now when people are super pissed off, right? They're like, oh, they're barely winning. They're still winning. He's still finding ways to win, even with no tackles out there and no guards at times. It's the way he's going about it and producing W's that I'm like, man, he's hard to stop. And not only that, but then all of a sudden it becomes the momentum of the team. You don't have to just stop Patrick at times. Now it's Kelsey, and then at times it's Xavier Worthy, and then at other times it's Pacheco, and then other times it's the other side, Chris Jones and Duffy and Bolton and all those guys. They also have kind of a young nucleus. I would say that Patrick Mahomes is young enough that I think that he could possibly win 3 to 4 more on his own. Quarterbacks are playing forever now, and he is just now getting hit to where he's like, oh, this is what everyone's been bitching about. Dude, he's so late to the game that it's he's got so much left in the tank that this could easily be done.
I'm with you though, Booney. It's got to be all based off Super Bowl wins.
Yeah,
that has to be the bar that is set for greatest of all time, because there's a lot of great coaches that have a lot of wins and all that, but if you don't win the big one, who cares?
Right.
He would have to, in my mind, to supplant greatest of all time, GOAT, all that kind of stuff. He's got to beat Belichick's Super Bowls. If he can beat Belichick's Super Bowls, then you can have the conversation, but until then, it'll always be second best.
And if he ties, I think you might end up giving him the GOAT status because of the way that Bill went out, and then all of a sudden the way that Andy goes out later, number one, so he's more recognition in your mind of how well he's doing, and 2, it becomes how does he go out? I feel like when Tom left Bill, it really put a big smear on him. It was man, this is... Tom kind of warned everybody about this, and he was kind of right. Shit, it went bad, and then Tom goes down and wins the Super Bowl down in Tampa, and it's oh God, what's going on? Like all of a sudden you're kind of like, is Bill really the greatest or is Tom the greatest? Like there's always going to be that kind of conspiracy. With this, you're like, no, it could be the same thing, right? It could be, because it could be, maybe it's Patrick Mahomes is doing, but then all of a sudden you have to remember he was the coach of the Eagles forever. And how many NFC championships did he take them to with Donovan McNabb and all
Four
that
straight,
shit?
four
Like,
straight,
dude,
right?
He's definitely in contention of being one of the GOATs. Does he have enough? Will he have enough years to go to make him the GOAT?
I think, some of it's just like how healthy
Right.
can he be? How long does he want to keep doing it for?
How long do guys buy in for? Because eventually guys are like, and that only really happens when you're not winning. But like, say they hit a lull, right? All of a sudden you're going to be like this is probably one of the teams we're going to be talking about today. Right? Like say they hit a Dallas skid and all of a sudden it's like, now what happens, right? Like can he keep them together? And I think that's one of the other things that I respect about Bill so much is that like you never heard about issues on his team, right? Like you just never heard about that. And at the same time, it's like Kansas City, not so much, Philadelphia, not so much. Like there's a lot of reasons why I consider Bill Belichick to be one of the greatest. Number one is because everyone feared him. Like everyone hands down feared this man. And they were like, if I so much as say something to the media, I'll get cut. He'll just
that's gonna work well at North Carolina, by the way, when he's dealing with 18-year-olds.
Hey, different times, right?
The Tar is the Tar
listen,
here. The
you
Tar Heel
see this guy on
job.
McAfee. He's drinking beers. Like I don't even care anymore. I can't believe I was this serious. But at some point, like when you look at it, that's what also makes him one of the greatest ever. Is like the minute you say his name, people are like, "Ooh, who?" Yep, I remember that guy. Like they kind of get a little scared, and it's like Andy's so the opposite. He's such a funny dude. Like you see him in commercials and shit, and I'm laughing my ass off, and I'm like, this guy's such a genius. Like it's so weird how both of them can be considered great, yet they take such different mindsets at approaching the game.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing to this: is that Bill Belichick found his Tom Brady and helped cultivate him, so he deserves credit for that too. But when he was in his late 40s, like. Bill Belichick was 49 when Tom Brady and Bill and the whole crew won that Super Bowl against the Rams. Andy Reid was like 60, I want to say, when the Chiefs finally found that dude, that Patrick Mahomes. And now you have to, as a coach, you have to put the work in and develop those guys. And McNabb was good, but it was a lot of like Matt Castle? It was Alex Smith for sure early in Reid's career.
For a long time.
So I just. If he had that Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady 10 years earlier, does he get 3 extra rings? Some of it's
absolutely.
Like who do you get stuck with?
Because think about it too.
To
when Alex Smith was there, they were very competitive. Like they were always pushing late or in the playoffs. Like they were a tough team, dude. Like that's why I'm like, he's been a great coach for a long time. You get Patrick Mahomes, and all of a sudden it's like, this guy's insane.
Oh, Jay's muted.
Why would you mute him?
I don't know. I think he muted himself. It says his mic isn't connected.
He's back.
Am I back?
Can't
I'm
see
here.
Kind of I think
You're not here?
Where'd he
No,
go?
we
I
got
can't
you.
see
We got
anything.
Can you hear me?
We're good. Are you like unzipping your camouflage right now?
Dude, it's hot. I came straight in from the duck blind, all right? I got the skull thing on.
Oh, he's got the Viking.
Oh, that's a fine. That's a
Let's go,
team-issued fine. Ding him right now.
all
Team-issued
this
gear
team
outside the
issued.
facility.
All of it's team issued.
Is that another
What's
one?
what's the bottom layer? Is that Nebraska or what?
Yeah, this is Nebraska, the Adidas Tech Fit.
Oh,
Right.
that's a college fine for sure. That's a double
Dude, listen,
ding. That's an
I kept all
SRF.
this.
Got your high
My
school
wife-
Letterman
My
jacket
wife
there
was
too.
always
What?
like, she was like, "Why are you keeping all this crap? You're not going to use it." I was like, "I hunt, so when I'm done with football, I'm going to need warm weather gear that I don't want to spend a fortune on." So,
Hey, it's
I
your
kept
fault
it
you
all.
got dinged, not ours.
hey, I'll take it. I'll wear it. But yeah, to my point,
Big baller.
I was saying that Patrick Mahomes, when you have a great quarterback, when you have a great coach, a quarterback just puts gasoline on the fire, right? Like when you have everything set up and then you finally get one of the good ones, that's when just the rocket ship just takes off, right? Belichick was a great coach. Brady comes in, rocket ship, right?
Yeah.
Quarterbacks can make decent coaches look great, right? And then sometimes those coaches move on because people think, oh, he was the great guy. They go show up to another team with an average quarterback and they don't look so great anymore, right? So that's why if you really want to look at, hey, is a coach good or can he be considered great? You have to look at what he did with little, not what he did with superstars, right? That's for me is kind of another metric you have to look at.
Okay, here's the next one. Is this a hot take? A.J. Brown single-handedly wrecked the Eagles' chances to win a Super Bowl in 2 months.
No, that's not a hot take. I don't know that it was A.J. Brown, and that's where we're going to have to point the real finger. It more is going at Brandon Graham. And I guess
I agree.
my biggest problem with all of this is going to be this. We've talked about this on the show. Players podcast during the season is never a smart idea. It's just not smart. Okay, listen, there was a time when I was young and we had a show every Thursday and we'd go on and they'd be like gassing me up, and just before I'd say enough, they'd be like, done. It was somebody regulating it. It was somebody in front of me that could be like, shut this off, right? When you go and say something as criminal and asinine as that to a fucking podcast, your own, you have now opened up the floodgates to your fucking locker room, because now the next question to everybody is this team okay? Are you guys okay? And what did we say on Monday's show? We're good because it doesn't look like last year. And then by Tuesday, it's looking like last year, where it's like, this one guy's really pissed. And now everyone's got to backtrack.
They used to be friends. I don't know what happened.
Now they're
like
not.
Each other.
And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, what the fuck did you just say? Because we thought there was a little smoke. We thought there was a little smoke.
I want to know what happened. Like, did he call your mom a bad name? Like, dude, what caused the chasm? Like, because that's the question now.
We'll never know.
Something, right. And that's the thing, is now the question's going to be, Jalen, what happened with AJ Brown? You're going to have to go ask him. And then AJ Brown, if anyone's going to say anything, I think it'll be AJ Brown, because receivers can't help themselves. They cannot help themselves, right? They're going to sit there and they're going to try and do it right, and you'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. Here's what happened, right? Like, that's exactly what's going to happen, because it's going to take just enough questions. They're going to maybe lose a game. Right, they're going to maybe lose a game down the stretch here. I mean, first game in 2 months, and someone's going to ask a question, and he's going to go ballistic, and that can completely derail the entire season. I'm with you, Booney, though. Brandon Graham, you're not even playing. And I have a lot of respect for Brandon Graham. He's played in this league for a long time. He's seen Super Bowls. He's been on bad teams. I don't understand why he felt the need to comment on this. There's zero good that's going to come from that. Like, if you're going to come out and say something like that, tell the truth. Say what happened. Here's what happened. Here's how we're trying to fix in the locker room, right? I'm a veteran presence, even though I'm not playing. But he just sprinkled details, but not really. And all it did was just everyone's now sitting there scratching their heads going, uh-oh, is this happening again? Here we go again. It's up to Sirianni. Like I said on Monday, if Sirianni cannot gather control of this situation, Eagles are toast.
Agreed, 100%.
And guess who's coming to town, by the way? Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are coming to town this weekend to pry that whole thing wide open in Philadelphia.
Cam Hayward's about to be fucking licking his chops. And that's my biggest issue with this is this. You never discuss family business outside of the dinner table, right? Like, that was the one rule in the NFL, is no matter how bad of a dumpster fire it looks behind these doors and these four walls, it is to never leak out, because every team has dumpster fires. Every team's dealing with problems. It's the whole job, and this is for everybody listening. The whole job of the NFL is to keep your shit inside. Everybody's on fire, bros. Everybody's exploding at different times. Every fucking team deals with it. It's the ones that let it out that end up fucking up. Because after 2-3 weeks of asking the same question, what's wrong? What's wrong? Nothing. Nothing's wrong. Well, Brandon Graham said something was wrong. There's got to be something wrong. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. All of a sudden it's and you're like, where did this all go wrong? Oh, the guy on IR was saying that there's a feud on the offense. The fuck is this? A guy who's played almost 15 years? The fuck is this? On your podcast during the season when you guys are like third in the fucking NFC? Dude, at some point, if somebody would ask me, I'd have been like, what bullshit are you on? You know how much times I had to lie in the NFL and make it look like nothing? When they were like, well, we have evidence that he took a swing, I'd be like, play swing, right? He's just messing with them. He's just letting them know he's there. People are like, you're really going to hide this? I'm like, I am. I am not going to ever let anything out, because if it does come out, you'll fucking kill this season. And that's a whole year we've all just wasted here because two guys can't stop fucking fighting.
And, and to your guys' point, when you put 53, by the way, practice squad, 65
there's a lot
coaches,
of dudes in that locker room.
90, to think about all the support staff, damn near 100 personality-driven, macho, testosterone.
Alphas.
All of them were the dude alphas.
Baby.
There's going to be 5 or 10 people in every locker room that you've ever been in that hate each other, that don't talk, that have barely a professional relationship, because that's just how it's going to work. But this is where I come back to A.J. Brown. Like, it's not unique. I'm sure every locker room in the league has dudes who kind of hate each other or don't get along, whatever it is. But when your team hasn't lost a game in 2.5 months, and you win kind of a clunky game against Carolina, and the passing game's kind of stagnant the last few weeks, you're a running team, and a microphone and a camera get stuck in your face after the game, what would you like to see better? That's your fork in the road. You say passing, one word with a stern look on your face. Now they're going to go over to Jalen Hurts, right?
Right.
Yeah. But if you say, listen, I know we're winning games, but there's another level we can get to offensively. I know we can get to another level offensively. We got to keep working, keep grinding, whatever, right?
Or you go the other way and you go, hey, this is a different Panthers team. Credit to them, dude. They look really good. They played us tough. We slept on them a little bit. They punched us in the mouth. You know how many times we've had to do that? And that's just called eating your own shit and having to go, listen, I'm rather protect my team than describe this fight in the huddle the entire game. Then I'll just go out and give the other team a bunch of credit. Be like, man, they were fucking tough. But hey, we won, right? We won. They were tough. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to come back next week. We're not going to be doing all this.
And back to what we talked about on Monday, he's like the 8th receiver in the league, right? It's not like you're not getting targets, you're not getting carries. Like, buddy,
you're number one on that team.
You're number one on that team.
Problem is you're a run team. And then off of that, we do some of this. Like, sometimes it baffles me how much they forget what this fucking team is made up. Our identity does not run through you, Brody. It runs through this other guy. But you are a great supporting cast. And if you don't learn to chill the fuck out, you can be a supporting cast member on the Cleveland Browns. How about that? You want to fucking play with us? Dude, last place I would play would be Philly. I'm not even kidding you. The fans, number one, will fuck you up. Like, if you ruin their fucking season, don't run them out of the fucking city. 2, I would not fuck with that management. Have you met those guys? They sit in that booth and laugh so much that I'm like, they got to be crazy. Bradley Cooper's in there, like, talking to him, and I'm like, this dude's a fucking OG, dude. Sitting next to Bradley Cooper, running one of the coolest fucking teams in the NFL. This is awesome.
Yeah. They also, to your guys' point about Sirianni, it's like, all right, this is, I don't care if you guys get to the playoffs, if this thing gets kind of nuked, and you lose in the second round of the playoffs, and it feels like that
this
locker
had
room
something to
hates
do
each
with
other.
It? Yeah.
The Eagles fired Andy Reid once upon a time. They fired Doug Peterson like a year after they won the Super Bowl or whatever it was, 2 years.
Told you, dude.
They'll
don't fuck
fire
around.
A guy.
They don't. Yeah. And that's why this is the most important person right now is Sirianni. Like, clearly, once you know the division's been thrown out there, you have to turn around and be like, how do we just fucking hold it right here?
How should he fix it?
Here's what you do. Sirianni needs to, number one, bring both those two guys in and be like, listen, whatever we're dealing with, this fucking shit is moot point. You understand me? You are 8th in the fucking league right now, and we are doing just fine. We hit a speed bump like most NFL teams do late in the season. We are fine. Everyone needs to chill, but it's not like a go out and say we're chill. I need y'all to right now, if you got an issue, you need to fucking say it. Because I can't have you out there faking it, because everyone's going to see that, and that's going to be even worse. So if there's an issue, say it. And then once I clear that, I come out and I go, there is no more issues. We've talked about it. It's over. I don't want to hear another fucking word about it. And then I have a team meeting. You ever fucking jackknife this team again, I'll fucking run you out myself. There is nothing worse than from division from within, and Harbaugh taught us that. That's what they all want. That's what the media wants. That's what your enemies want. They want you to come within and go, it's true, though. And then you turn around and you see it.
Kool-Aid.
Hey,
Harbaugh Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I wouldn't be saying this, but a 13-year vet just caused division from within, and that's exactly what he was talking about. It's the worst thing to kill a team, because no matter what, you can't come back. Because guys are like, well, you remember what you said about me? I didn't forget it. And you're like, shit. I did say that out loud, didn't I? Yeah. Fuck.
Well,
it's
that's
terrible.
The thing. I think Sirianni has to have a press conference and take it head on. Like, because I don't think he hasn't talked about it yet.
No, but you need to.
Sirianni hasn't come out to the media. The only way he's going to be able to gather control of this narrative is to have the conversation with Brandon Graham, have a conversation with him and say, no more. You don't speak about this outside. Have a conversation with AJ, have a conversation with Jalen, have a team meeting, and explain to the team what happened, how it's going to be fixed going forward. And then he goes to the media and says, this is how it's handled. It's done. No more questions to my players about this. We're focused on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that has to be it. Take a page out of Belichick's book. We're on to the Steelers, right? That's how it has to be done. The question is, do the players respect Sirianni enough to listen to him when he says that? And that's not a dig at Sirianni, right? That's a dig at, like, Sirianni's been like this a little bit. The players, you have to have a lot of respect for your head coach to listen to that and go from that. And A.J. Brown, sometimes these players feel, and I've met players that feel like they are less expendable than the coach, right? So they're like, hey, I don't care. You can fire that guy. They ain't going to fire me.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
It's funny how often when a good team in sports gets derailed, it's less often about the work and the actual job and the task. It's about the drama of the team, that your egos or whatever.
Right. Dude, it's so hard to control it.
Speaking of, here's the next one. So Micah Parsons left the field before the clock hit 0 on Monday night. Yeah, the game was pretty much over, but he was the one walking off the field.
Of course, they show him walking off early.
Yep. So is this a hot take? The Cowboys should trade Micah Parsons this offseason and just reset their roster and assets around $60 million Dak Prescott.
I said to do this year.
Yep.
Like, you can't re-sign him because his price tag is going to be astronomical. He probably doesn't want to be there anymore. Get something out of him. You're not going to be able to go rebuild this team through free agency with the way that you paid CeeDee Lamb, the way that you paid Dak Prescott. You pay Micah Parsons top edge rusher now. You're talking about 3 guys taking up like 35% of the cap, right? 3 guys. You can't, and you've got holes all over that roster, right? That's not hey, these 3 guys, we can fix it with low-level free agents. You're going to have to fix this thing through the draft. So, yeah, trade Micah Parsons, get some draft capital out of him. I mean, you could get easy 2 first-round picks out of Micah Parsons. I really believe you could. You get a couple first-round picks out of him and start hitting the reset button, but you got to reset handcuff with a quarterback. That's a hard place to be.
What's CD make a year? 20?
No, it's 30.
30? So between
he signed right before Justin Jefferson, and Jefferson was 35.
136. So it is
25, 26.
His cap hits are going to be 35, 34, 36.
So you're looking at next year between 2 offensive players having a $95 million cap hit.
And Micah Parsons is going to want to be a 22-ish.
25.
I don't remember what the top tier edge rushers are making now.
30. 30. Right. That's 120. That's half your cap. That's half your cap in 3 players. Hey, guy, you better catch a lot of balls. You better sack them every fucking time because we're working with rookies out here. Listen, if Jerry were smart, he would see the writing on the wall. I can't make all this work. And by the way, they have this guy walking off the field. Like, one of your fucking leaders is walking off the field early. There is no bigger disrespect to your team than when you can't even fucking go shake someone's hand after the game. When I saw them following him out, I was like, here's another guy who has his own podcast, who's just talk, gets his ass kicked, can't sit there and shake a hand and be like, hey, man, you're right. You fucked me up. Appreciate you. Great game. Y'all are some great players. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know if it's me or if everyone else feels the same way, but I'm sick of all the stupid talking. Everyone's got a fucking podcast now, and everyone's talking. And then everyone's like, well, you do. And I'm like, we're retired. There are no people standing over us anymore. They don't let us make decisions. Believe me, I'd be in that room if they did, but they don't. So now we're going to be here talking about it.
And we still protect our own. We don't get on here like, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be like me getting on here and talking about my clients personally, or it'd be like you talking about the guys in the gym personally.
That's going to be our new Thursday episode. Actually. Let's get a couple drinks in Jeremiah.
Hey, One West Sports Group client update, right? But no, it's just one of those things that when you're part of a family like an NFL football team, you can't. There's zero room for selfishness of I want to build my own brand at the cost of the other 52. Right, you can build your own brand through a crazy million different ways. Talking about the other 52 to get likes, clicks, engagement, that's not the way to do it. And unfortunately, you're seeing more and more people. Again, I'm all about guys having a voice. I'm all about you having a podcast. I'm all about it. You just have to be smart in what you say. And when you are self-regulated and you're not part of the team's organizational podcast, or you're not part of the Vikings network, the Cowboys network, right? When it is the Micah Parsons show or it's the Brandon Graham show and there's no checks and balances besides social media, things get said, and the internet's forever.
It needs
that's
to
my
be,
point.
it
Hey,
was
it's
state-run
forever.
media only.
No,
State-run media.
that's exactly right.
Cowboys.com
Hey,
exclusive.
listen, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not against people having a platform. I'm against people having a platform on their own, because you know what? Eventually, you're gonna say something. You're just gonna be so tempted, or it's naturally just gonna come out, and someone's gonna take it the wrong way, and it ends up being a problem. That's why they hated when we used to do these shows, and they were like a 15-minute blip on Thursdays, and they were like, "God, we're just so against it." You'd be like, "Why?" And they'd be like, "Because you're gonna say something. You're gonna fucking say something about one of your teammates, about one of the coaches, about the fans. It's just gonna slip out, and you're not even gonna mean to say it, and it's gonna cause terrible harm to this team." And you're like, "Well, you're being a little drastic." Am I being fucking drastic now? You're just naturally drawn into wanting to create a fucking clickbait, something that oh, did you hear what he said? Oh my God, I gotta watch this. And it's like, you just threw half your fucking team under the bus. You have to go back there tomorrow morning at 5:30 in the morning. What do you think they're going to be saying? Like, I don't know how I would take it if one of my teammates had a show and he was calling us all out on his show. Like, I might have a real fucking problem with that.
The best one in sports, the best example, a couple of years ago in the NBA, Draymond Green started his own like weekly podcast. Do you guys remember when he punched, was it Jordan? He punched Jordan Poole out at practice. And then like a couple days, I think it was like a couple days later, he's on his own podcast kind of recapping what happened. Oh, man. So, Booney, were you on like, what were you on? Was it like the game in San Francisco?
Yeah, the game. Dude, it was great. And those guys were great because they would always like, they'd inform me before. They'd be like, "Hey, listen, we're not going to take it too far. We're not going to ask you anything crazy." Because I'd be like, "Hey, don't ask me anything offensively. If you want to ask me about their defense, I'm all about it. But I'm not telling you anything game plan wise." And they'd end up, sure as shit, like week 12 every year, they'd be like, "So what's up with the game plan this week?" You'd be like,
"Yeah."
Do I look like a fucking idiot? Like, I mean, just give away all my answers? Like, I'm never going to do that, right? But it's the same thing, because eventually, if you're going to do that, it has to be a we thing. Like, for me, it was always an us thing, the OLine. I always called us us. You know, us, we got to figure it out. Like, and guys knew at times, like, they'd ask me about a certain guy, like, "Hey, your left tackle gave up 3 sacks." I'd be like, "Hey, we need to fix that," right? Like,
we got to figure it out.
We can be here to help him and alleviate some of that, and we need to go look at that. But eventually, you don't want to say we, because eventually you hear the same fucking name, and you're like, "Yeah, we." I'm having a hard time. We need to work more on pass setting. And it's like, no, he does, but I can't say that, because if I do, he is going to fucking hate me. And now why do you think we're going to play together? Not good. That's why eventually I was like, this is dumb. This is bad. And the minute the guys started doing this, they're like, "Oh, it'll be fine. I'm building my brand." What kind of fucking brand are we? How many brands are we building? Are you a fucking Walmart? Like, you're a football player. Now you want to be a podcaster, a football player, a Bitcoin collector. There's so much shit going on, guys. Why don't we just stick to football? Stick to the fucking game.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Oh, my mentor used to say that.
I got one more thing for you guys before we send Jeremiah back out into the wilderness in his camouflage. So, Ohio State Representative Josh Williams introduced the Ohio Sportsmanship Act on Tuesday. So this new bill in Ohio would make it a felony offense to plant a flag on the center logo at Ohio State's football stadium. Is this a hot take by this politician?
Cowards. You guys are cowards in Ohio. Cowards.
We can't beat Michigan, so let's introduce a new bill. That's what we're going to do.
Listen.
Players at the 50-yard line, and now if we get beat, we're going to cry in our freaking and no one can
all I
touch
know
our
is,
precious Buckeye.
Unless you want to spend a night in Columbus County Jail, I would not plant that flag there again. Motherfuckers gonna learn.
What are they
gonna
gonna
learn.
Do? I hope someone next year. I hope they pass.
Well, they're playing Tennessee at home. They're playing Tennessee at home. What if Tennessee player does it?
I hope a Tennessee player goes out there, sharpens the edge of the stick, and literally sticks it in the ground. Like a literal sword of Ohio State.
That's my question. Say he does do that. Are they going to arrest him on the spot? Because I'm going to warn you, if you go after a kid from another team, their security staff is going to be like, "I don't care if you are the police here. My job is to make sure that 120 guys get on this fucking plane. And if it's 119, it's my ass getting it."
Dude.
So he's getting on this fucking plane.
Shove that flag in the ground, put your arms behind your back, and close your eyes. Worth it. Cuff me. That's right.
Dude,
We're going to the
that's where
second round.
you find like the 5th-year senior that doesn't play, right?
Or
But
doesn't
just, like,
care. There's
the
a lot of them.
heartbeat,
There's a
right?
oh yeah.
He's just the heartbeat of the team, core special
Just
team.
hand him the flag after the
and
game.
you're like, hey, buddy, it's your time. And he's like, I'll do it, boys, for the love. He's got the giant tattoo of whatever team he's on. He rips his shirt off.
Go Vols.
Listen,
Oh, Rocky Top. Let's go.
I want to
bullshit
just say that
thing.
I apologize to everybody. He does
Oh,
not
my
speak for
God.
the rest of us. I just talked about how we have to be able to be humble and get our asses kicked at times. And I can't stand up here and say that you can't plant your flag once you do. I'm all about it, dude.
Don't get beat. And they
I
won't
gotta
plant
be
the
honest.
flag. Don't get beat.
When this is terrible, but it's kind of funny. When we used to win in the NFL when Harbaugh was our coach, we always had a tradition that when we would leave, he would beep the horns all the way out of the city. So you'd be driving out and all the horns would be beeping. And the fans would be giving us the finger and throwing beer at the bus. And he'd be just waving and smiling. And it makes you, listen, if you can't plant a flag in someone's stadium after you kick their ass, what's the point of playing? This is such a violent game, and it's such a gladiator sport that at the end of it, you're so built up that you're like, I gotta let them know. And I'm all for it because we lost, and times people would start to honk on their way out to show us we're not fucking stupid. We heard you last time. And it's demoralizing. You're like, God damn, that's what that feels like, huh? That sucked. But it's one of those things, it's the competitive nature.
Yeah.
It makes it so fun. Like,
And if you don't like it,
tough
don't lose.
fucking shit. You should have won. I agree.
Should have won.
Dude,
You don't like it? Should have won.
I agree 100%. And I apologize to everyone.
pretty
Plant
soft.
those flags. Fucking Ohio's gotten soft on me. I figure that shit out.
SAWFT soft.
Yeah. Michigan owns Ryan Day. So
Until I get down there and start coaching, I'm going to kick
Oh,
the fuck out
stop
of
it.
this.
please don't. Please.
Kidding me? I would crush it at Ohio State. I would fucking beat the shit out of Michigan. Kidding me?
This is his official interview right now.
Yeah.
Folks. Let's clip this, put it all over the internet.
To be
Alex
fair,
Boone.
I never lost to that fucking Nasty's team, okay? I never lost them. I got all
Who did
four of my
what
gold
era-
parents.
Rich Rodriguez, who was the Brady
Lloyd
Hoke?
Carr.
It was Lloyd
wasn't it?
Carr. So I was
Lloyd
part of the
Carr.
number 1, number 2 team. I was the starting left tackle for Ohio State in the double overtime. God, baby, you want to talk about a fucking game? God, we used to get after those dudes. And that was Lamar Woodley, who had the big Woody the Woodpecker tattoo, and everyone kept warning me about him. They're like, this guy's good. I was like, fuck this guy. Hit me with a bull rush. I was a true sophomore, and I was like, this dude's fucking for real. I was like, this game just got interesting.
Dude, that's how I was when I played against Von Miller as a freshman when he was
Yes.
a senior at A&M. Right, all week long they're like, "Hey, Sirles, this guy's different." I'm like, "I'm watching the tape. I get it, dude. He's really good." They're like, "Listen, he's different." And first third down, I was like, "All right." And they slid away from me. I was like, "All right, it's a test, right? They want to see if I can do it." Dude ran around me like I was standing fucking still. Crushes the quarterback, right? Whap! And I go to pick up Cody Green. I'm like, I am so sorry. And I pick him up. I go to the sideline. I'm like, I'm gonna need some help. This is not. I've never seen anything like this before in my
I thought you
entire
watched the
life.
film there, Jay. I thought you
I
watched
did
that
watch
film.
the film,
yeah.
but dude, in person at Kyle Field, when I'm looking at the ball and trying to look at him out there, not fun. Wasn't a
12th
good
man
time.
got you. 12th man got you that day.
So, all right, I gotta go kill ducks.
All right, there he
Good luck,
goes.
buddy.
For Jay, for Alex, I'm Phil. This is the OLine Committee.